Hello, my name is Kevin with Veilux, and today I'm going to show you the VMS software that comes with the Veilux 1648 DVD, the Veilux 1648 G1, and the Veilux VP-8-4 SDI DVRs. After you install the VMS software, and you click on the VMS software icon and run the VMS software that is under the start menu, you will have the login name that is coming up on the screen right now. The default password is 7 ones to log into the software. Once you log into the software, you will have this screen right here that pops up. Right here will be a list of the DVRs that you have connected. Right now we do not have any DVRs connected or set up, so we need to set up a DVR. In order to set up a DVR, you will go to Setup and you will go to Site Manager. Here is where you would input your DVR information. So we're going to go Add. You would name it. If you're using a public IP address, you would type in your public IP address. If you're using a local IP address and you're within the network, you can use your local IP address. The port here will actually be the CMS port, but we're going to type in the web port, so therefore I can show you what's going to happen if you type in the wrong information. The username default for the login through Internet Explorer. You can also create other users and create different passwords, but the default is user1 and 7 ones, so that would be 111111. Then you will need to confirm your password again. You will then hit OK, and then it shows the DVR here. You will then hit close. Now it shows the DVR here. You would drag and drop this. Once you drag and drop the DVR, it will take about a minute or two to come up. And then after a minute or two, it's not going to connect, it's not going to show you any pictures. Instead, a red X is going to come over this DVR. But this will take about a minute or two for this to happen. Usually if you drag and drop and after like 30 seconds it does not come up, if you're within the network, if it's not within a couple of seconds, there is something wrong. Please note you do need to have your port forwarding, also every now and then known as game porting. Depending on what type of router you use, they do use different names and everything. If the ports for CMS 2000 through 2007 are not open, and then your web port 8080, you will not be able to connect, seeing it over the internet and everything. If these ports are not open on your router, your DVR, you will not be able to view it. As we see right now, we got the red X now. This means that it's not connected to the DVR. There's something wrong. The IP address could be wrong. The ports could be closed on the router, or the information you inputted into the system is wrong. Here we know that we inputted the wrong thing because I wanted to show you the X. Also, if you need to ever delete a DVR that you would like to delete, or if you need to edit, you can hit here, click edit, and then here's where we're going to change the port to 2000, and then hit OK. And then here you would hit close. And then here's the DVR. We drag and drop it, and then it shows all the video loss and video disconnected because we don't have anything but one that is saying connecting right now. Once you click on it, you'll see it. We only have one camera hooked up to the DVR system right now due to we don't have a lot of cameras right now that we are actually doing testing on. In order to do recording, to set up, to have the best possible recording and everything, so therefore if you want to do digital zoom and everything, you can do digital zoom. Please note, when you do digital zoom, it does get a little distorted and pixelated, but in order to have the best quality picture for doing zooming in, zooming out, not zooming and everything, there are some changes that you do need to make. You need to go to DVD or DVR Setup Manager. Here, under DVR Manager Setup, you can basically do everything from here that you can do on the DVR and send it if you have those permissions. You can restrict these access through the user setups and everything and just have them as a regular user. Here, you can change all the cameras to record. On setting the resolutions, you do have several settings of resolution. SIF, you will see some fuzziness and distortion. SIF 2 is okay. SIF 4 is for the highest quality. When you change SIF 4, it does take up more room to do recording, and this is for the recording and saving data. But this also improves the remote view and the VMS view. So the higher the SIF of the recording, the more room it's going to take, but also when you're remotely viewing it or viewing it through the CMS, you've got a much more clearer, crisper picture, plus you're able to do more digital zoom and see a better picture when you are digitally zoomed in to see what happened and everything if you're going through and watching videos. So most people use the 4 SIF with the quality of highest and then 30/30. Please note this is a D1, so it does support 30. The SVR 1648, I do not think it is 30 frames. And then in order to do all this, once you save everything or once you change what you want, which channels, you can hit send. The send information will send the information to the DVR. You may have to exit out of this and re-get back into the DVR and access the system again every time you hit send. Or if you change something and you don't like the settings and you want to go back to default, you can hit default. Or if you change something and you forgot where you changed it and you don't want to save anything, you would hit cancel and it would take you out. Event. You can set up events for certain channels for motion, sensors, sound, or patterns. You can change them on or off if you want to set up events for the cameras. Right now we can't do all the other cameras because all we do is have one camera hooked up right now at the time. Also the same thing with alarms. If you want to set up alarms and everything, you can set up alarms as long as you have everything hooked up through the through the inputs of the DVR. Here you have the DVR name, you have the admin password, and then it's confirming the admin password. And this is the password that you would log in remote or from the actual DVR, not remotely. And then once you change all that, you would hit the send button. Storage. We don't have any hard drive on the unit right now, but if you had a hard drive, it would show the model number, the serial number, and the size and the status of the hard drive. Here you can have private recording. You can turn on certain days of private recording and how many days you want it to record. After that, it will stop recording. Override hard drive. This you always want to have on if you're doing continuous recording and everything. So therefore, once the hard drive is full, it will start overriding the information manually or automatically. Here is where you could set up your protocol. If you have a PTZ camera, you can set up the manufacturer of the camera here or what protocol it's using. Most people will be using the Pelco, and then the ID, and then Pelco P or D, the baud rate. 9600 is what's here, but usually when we send out a PTZ by default it's 2400. You will need to also have your RS-485 connections hooked up into the back of the DVR. Time, you can set up the time. Here we're in Central Time. We've already had it and everything. Here you can actually check different locations and everything to change the time if you need to have the time changed, and then you would hit send. It automatically has the time to start daylight savings and when to end daylight savings. Network, here is where you can tell it to obtain a IP automatically or do not, and give it a static IP address. Ports, here are the CMS ports that I was talking to you earlier about, that it shows the command ports and everything. These ports must be open on your router or the unit will not work. And then your web port server port, which is 8080. Once again, if you're using Internet Explorer and everything and you're outside of the network, you must have these ports open. If you do not have these ports open, you're going to get the red X on the DVR. DNS, if you have a DNS server and everything, you will need to enable DNS and input your DNS information into this box. Bandwidth, picture setting, picture quality. You've got 3 settings here. You got high quality, SIF, SIF2, SIF4. Most people want the SIF4, as I said, for the best. Band limitation, most people want this off. If you do turn on band limitations, the picture and everything that you will be viewing remotely can be jumpy, static, and not as good that it can be if this is set to off. Schedule, this is where you can set up a schedule to have certain days and certain times recorded and have certain times not to be recorded. So let's say you just want to have the night recorded and nothing during the day, or you want to have the day recorded and not through the day. You can set up this by highlighting them and everything and setting up the certain times. Email, you can add your email address here and have emails sent to you if like an alarm, event, or motion is detected. Please note, if you have an outside camera or if you have a PTZ that is set on presets and everything, this option is not a very good option to use due to if the wind blows, you will get emails. If there is rain, you will get emails, and it will continuously keep on sending you email after email after email because it is finding motion. Even though it's rain and it's weather, it is detecting motion. If you have a PTZ that is going from one preset to another preset to another preset, it is going to send you an email each time it goes to a preset because it's seeing motion when the PTZ moves from preset to preset. Callback, this is really not used at all with the servers and everything. Event log, this is where you can turn on events and everything. Like for cameras, if you want to turn on the event, alright, now we have all the events on for the event log to see. POS, if you had a POS hooked up to the system and everything, you can hook up the POS and then the protocol, the baud rate, and the characters, which will be displayed on the screen if you had a POS system hooked up to the unit. And under events, you've got where you can add watermarks on the video recording or not, and the QP controls. This is a quick overlay about the Veilux DVR and also the settings of the DVR. And once again, under DVR are under the setup and under the site manager, you can add more than one DVR and have multiple DVRs listed here. And you can split the screen to 64 channels and add more DVRs. So therefore, you'll be able to see more DVRs, and then you can also change the screens to different places if you want to have like channel 1 here, channel 2 here, and certain things on our DVRs. You can also control the PTZs down here through the PTZ control functions if you have a PTZ. Zoom in and out, focus the PTZ and everything down here. Thank you very much for watching this Veilux presentation.